All right, guys. It is week 3. It is the end of week 3. We are getting ready to do the third episode of the Infinity Fantasy League baseball podcast. This is where I bring you all the happenings of the past week and a bunch of information that you probably knew and maybe some that you didn't. But I guess I should stop first. What the hell am I wearing, right? This here, my friends, is an authentic MLB poncho. If you remember, a few years ago, the Cardinals played a series down in Mexico. Well, this was actual, authentic gear that was sold at the venue and online. And I bought it. I thought it was pretty cool. I never would be able to get MLB authentic gear, Cardinal stuff that involved a poncho, so I grabbed it while it was available. My kids tell me that I am culturally appropriating, but I tell them MLB is allowing me to do that. And I don't really, those are big words, and I'm not really sure what that means. Certainly mean to wear it respectfully, though. Okay, let's get into week 3. A lot happened, and I'm going to cut back on some stuff because I'm not going over 15 minutes this week. I just don't want to go over 15 minutes. Some quick stats, I'm going to go through them fast. Average points for the week, 436. Last week was 441. Average points daily, so this is how many points a team on average scores each day. That's 62. Last week was 63. So the numbers are pretty similar. We'll see as the weeks go by if these numbers hold. But that's interesting number to target if you want to be above average. Highest one-day total, Kepner Cardinals, 163 points on Friday. I think that's number 1. Lowest one-day total, hashtag Lola's Bearded Dragons, 0 points. Wednesday was a full slate day, I think. I think Thursday was travel day. So to score 0 on a full slate day is rough. That takes some effort, but I'll tell you what happened. Lolis, 3 of the guys that he had rostered scored negative 46 points. So that's a bad break. That's a very bad break. Number of transactions this week across the league was 57. 5 of those were waiver wire pickups. Last week it was 61 with 8 waiver wire pickups. So very similar. The highest number of transactions by a team is 5, of course. That's our cap. And we're always going to have a couple teams at least hitting that number. Lowest number of transactions by a team. Well, look at Breaking Brad. No more pickups. That's 2 weeks in a row at least that he's done no ads. My team is solid the way it is. I came out of the draft with knowing what I wanted. Nothing. No moves for 2 weeks in a row, I believe, or at least 2 out of 3 weeks. And the other team that didn't have any moves this week was Mayor of Titty City. And I didn't dive into why that was the case. If it was deliberate or just he was busy. Or she was busy, I don't really know. I think the first name of Mayor of Titty City is Taylor, I think. And it could be a boy's name, it could be a girl's name. I have wildly different images in my head of who Taylor is if it's a girl versus a boy and the team name of Mayor of Titty City. And I have to say, if you haven't seen the icon for Mayor of Titty City on the website, nice job. I did not know you could put GIFs on there, but that was impressive. I had not caught that until yesterday, or maybe it was today. Highest team score this week was 575 by Bat Flippin' Boys.
I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, I come big or I don't come at all.
Yeah, okay, thanks guys. The lowest team score was Krusty Brand Baseball at 341. We did see a couple clubs pop up this week. We saw Club 500, had only 2 members, Bat Flippin' Boys, of course, and Breaking Brad, who got in the last day, but still got in. We got some interesting video, though. Turns out Club 500 has a Ring doorbell, those things that record video of people coming and going, and we caught some video of a couple of the Club 400 guys trying to sneak in. I don't know if they're sneaking in, they're trying to get into the Club 500. Now, in their defense, I guess, they were really close to 500. They were like 494, 567, I don't know. But they were very close. But still, guys, I mean, the rule's the rule. You got to score 500 or more to get in Club 500. You got to score 400 or more to get in Club 400, etc., right? So anyway, let's get the video going of that Ring doorbell. That was funny video.
Fuck off.
Let me come in.
I said,
Fuck off.
Okay, so 2 members of the Club 500, 11 members of Club 400, 3 members of Club 300. I don't know if I said that right. Now, looking at standings, and I know you can look at the standings yourself. They're on the website, and you have full access to all of that. There's nothing that I can see that you can't see. But I want to point out something. It's kind of interesting. So after 3 games, we have 4 different combinations of teams. We have 3-0 teams, undefeated teams. We have 3 of those. We've got Breaking Brad, Matt's Marauders, and hashtag Lola's Bearded Dragons. Very impressive, guys. Being undefeated, it's got to feel good. I'm sitting at 1-2. So sitting at 3-0 has got to feel great. Just nice start to your seasons. We have 3 teams that are 2-1. We have 9 teams that are 1-2. And the reason I'm bringing this little segment in here is if you're a 1-2 team, or even if you're an 0-3 team like Juno, the only defeated team we have, you're by far not out of this. There's no reason to panic yet. There is virtually no separation among these teams. But we have 9 of us sitting in that 1-2 spot. But this is where it gets interesting. If you go to that standings page and you go down to the bottom where it says season stats and you sort by points for, something interesting comes up. We look all the way down, second to last in points scored is hashtag Lola's Bearded Dragons. Second to last. But they're 3-0. So, kind of interesting. I wonder what he thinks about that, being second to last and still being 3-0. The other thing I wanted to point out was Arizona Diablos Blancos, one of those 9 teams that are sitting at 1-2, and Arizona Diablos Blancos sitting solidly in that number 2 spot for points scored. Some bad outings, some bad luck, some bad matchups. Kempner Cardinals, another one. He's sitting at 2-1. He's the 3rd highest point total. He's lost a game somehow in there. It's 2-1, but this is the kicker I want to throw in there. If you look at the playoff percentages on the standings, that's the likelihood that the team's going to make the playoffs. We got a long season to go for these percentages to be playing out. Kempner Cardinals is at 54%. He's the 3rd highest point scorer in the league. And he's one of just a few teams that are 2-1 or better. And they give him a 54%. Do you know who's better, who's higher ranked in a playoff percentage by ESPN than Kempner Cardinals with all of their qualifications? The number 2 team, the number 3 team, the number 4 team, the number 5 team, the number 6 team in his division. They are all ranked higher or have a higher probability of making the playoffs than Kempner Cardinals. So go figure. I don't get it. I do not get it. The insult of all insults is bat flipping boys over there at 38%. Would have won last week had he not started those 2 big negative scores. And then this week just completely dominated with 570-something points. And he's sitting there at 38%. Team TNT's another thing I can't reconcile, sitting at 37%. When we get to the power rankings, I cannot reconcile the power rankings that come through our AI calculus engine with what ESPN is doing with this playoff percentage. It's infuriating. That's it for that. I don't have anything else to say about the standings, but that's very, very frustrating. Time for Joey Gallo? Let's do Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
We got some highlights, right? Got some highlights. Let's run those highlights as I'm talking. Yeah? Cool. That's good. Let's save a little bit of time. Let's just run them and I'll talk. So the first day he comes back from the IL is Wednesday. Nobody's going to start Joey Gallo on Wednesday because they want to see how he's doing coming back from the injury. So everybody's got him on the bench, waiting to see how he does and evaluate whether they're going to put him in going forward. Joey Gallo goes 2 for 5 with a home run, 3 RBIs, puts up 12 points. Not on anybody's scorecard. Nobody sees it. But they're excited, so they rush in to play him on Thursday. The guy goes 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Gets you 1 point. I don't even know where it came from. Maybe he walked or something. Joey Gallo. Friday, the Twins don't start him. give him a little bit of time to recover, probably from coming back from the injury. So of course nobody's got him starting on their roster because the Twins aren't starting him. You would not start Joey Gallo if he's not starting the game, right? You know what he does? They pinch hit late in the game for him. He hits a home run, puts up 12 more points. That's 24 points Joey Gallo puts up in the first 3 games back from injury. None of those, 25 points. Only one of those points would be on anybody's roster. Crazy. Of course, Saturday and Sunday, people throw him back on their roster. And you know what he does? He does Joey Gallo. He goes, on Saturday, he goes 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, scores a negative 1 point. Then we move to Sunday. He goes 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, 0 points. So really, all you saw from Joey Gallo, if you started him with any logic whatsoever, was 0 points for 3 outings this past week. Oh, Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo. Okay, this one, I was going to do Game of the Week. I'll break it down for you really fast. I have all the details here. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go through them. Matt's Marauders and Team J to the P had a great game. It's a lot closer than the final score shows. Really what it came down to was the very end of the week on Sunday. Team J to the P walks into that day with a lead, 9-point lead, and he's got Eflin and DeGrom going. He scored 50 points hitting. Everything was looking great. He put up 126 points, thought for sure he was going to win. Matt's Marauders comes in, puts up 174, and takes the game, takes the day. Just a phenomenal back and forth. And that Sunday, you score 126 points. That's twice the league average for a daily score, and you think you should win, but Matt's Marauders pulled it out. How did he win? His pitching doubled his hitting points. Nothing notable about his hitting performance. They were fine. 9 guys, though, had 7 points or less, which is 1 point per day. Eduardo Rodriguez had back-to-back 46 points and 32-point pitching performances. He's a Detroit pitcher. He only won one of those games, so there's 6 points that was just turned into a -3. He had an insane 4-save week from Hader, 41 points from Josh Hader. Where are you going to get that? I mean, that's just bad luck for Team J to the P. But Team J to the P, how did he lose it? I'm going to tell you. He's got balanced hitting and pitching. He had 23 fewer innings pitched than the Marauders. That didn't help him. But he left a lot of points on his bench. And now some of those points were just like Monday morning quarterback. I can say you started the wrong guys. I don't want to knock anybody for that. That's crappy. But there was a lot of points that you left. I mean, you could have come within 3 points of winning just by filling empty spots on travel days, on days where we didn't have a full slate, and making up for those points. So, and then also there was a rain delay and a rain postponement, and had you managed that up to the game time, I think maybe the outcome of this would have been different. So, trying to push through that fast. Let's get to the power rankings because we're running out of time. I'm already over 15 minutes, and I hate doing that. Power rankings. Let's do this. This is the rest of the season power rankings. So coming in at number 5 is Team TNT. Team TNT is number 5. Last week they were number 5. This week they're number 5. Number 4, Brick City Mules. Last week they were number 4. This week they're number 4. Not a lot of movement on the top 5. Number 3, Red Wine Redbirds. Number 2, Arizona Diablos Blancos. And number 1, as we've seen, as he deserves, Breaking Brad. The only movement we saw in the top 5 was hashtag Lolas Bearded Dragons had fallen off. He was tied for number 5, but he fell out of the top 5 in the rankings. Let's move over to the hitter power rankings. We see a little bit of change here. We now have a new bottom feeder, ALD3's Sour Grapes. They now sit in that bottom spot on the hitting power ranking. Of the top 5, number 5, hashtag Lola's Bearded Dragons. They slide from number 4, but they stay in the top 5. Number 4 comes in Matt's Marauders. Last week they were number 5. This week they elevated a little bit. Number 3, Breaking Brad, falls from number 2. Number 2 is Team TNT. They rose up from number 3. And they lost their game, right? That's interesting that they move up in the power rankings after losing to hashtag Lola's Bearded Dragons. Was that this past week? I think it was. Brick City Mules holds on to the number 1 spot on the hitting side. Let's move over to pitching. Pitching, we've got at the very bottom. I think it's a new team. I didn't look to see what last week's team was, but TNT now slides down. So they've got the number 2 hitting team and the lowest ranked pitching. Kind of interesting there. Number 5, Krusty Brand Baseball falls a slot to number 4. Redbirds go up a spot from number 5 to number 4. Kempner Cardinals falls from 3 to 2. Breaking Brad takes over that spot, moving up 1 spot. And then Arizona Diablos Blancos maintains their top spot. And sorry I ran out of time. I should have done a little bit more analysis and given you some information about what goes on here and why these things are doing what they're doing. Some of it's I don't know. My interns are far better at math than me, and they run the numbers and they tell me this is what it is, and I'm just the messenger, guys. I am not the engine. I am just the messenger. So with that, I'm going to leave you with this clip to send you out. One of my favorite shows. Anyway.
How you doing today, man? Everything good?
Yeah. Mr. Gomez, I represent the state. And we have what I believe is enough evidence to put you away for 10 years.
No. Ernie's an innocent man, so he's not going away for any time. Ernie, did you do it?
Of course not.
There you go.
Really?
Really?
Ernie, do you remember waving at the surveillance cameras of all 3 liquor stores? We've got the videotape. Hi, Mom. It's me, Ernesto. Your client's going away for 10 years. Unless we swap first-round picks.
Sidebar.
Let's.
You can't take my number 1 pick.
You give me the number 1 pick. I'm going to give you my 6th pick in the draft, okay? And I'm going to give your client 7 years. I'm going to knock it down from 10 to 7.
For the number 1 pick, this man should be able to walk out the door today, go on a crime spree that would make Robert Blake come in his pants. And then he should be able to go home and have sex with your wife and then be given a parade in his honor.
He's kidding.
Shh. Respect the sidebar, sir. Thank you. Listen to me. I'm doing you a favor here, okay? This is pro bono work for you.
Listen, all I want to say to you is this. I got to do 2 of these cases a year. This man, guilty or innocent, can do no more than 6 years for 3rd-round picks.
It's not gonna happen, okay? It's 1st-round pick. What do you want to do?
He goes for 5 years, we swap 1st rounds.
Pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. What was that?
You're going away for 5 years, and I just lost Adrian Peterson.